ready to begin.
Where are you?
Batman Begins is a film that was released in 2005 and was directed by Christopher Nolan and edited by Lee Smith. This film tells the origin story of a young Bruce Wayne / Batman, played by Christian Bale, who, after witnessing the murder of his parents as a child, relocates to East Asia to find a mentor named Henry Duckard, who's played by Liam Neeson, to teach him how to fight injustice and to protect the innocent in Gotham. After learning that his own mentor seeks to destroy Gotham and wipe it clean with the help of a criminal underworld, Bruce Wayne travels back to Gotham to prevent Gotham's destruction by donning a new persona based on his fear of bats, the Batman. The scene that I have chosen is the iconic I'm Batman scene, where the film introduces us to the Batman who takes out a mob boss named Carmine Falcone, played by Tom Wilkinson, and his henchmen, preventing a drug transport from happening in Gotham. This scene is one of my favorites because it is edited with quick-paced action shots balanced out with some slightly drawn-out shots to create a unique level of tension and suspense. This scene also shows how less can be more. Let's take a look.
Hey. Stice. Stice? What? What?
Better check it. There's a problem out here. You better bail. Where are you? Here. What the hell are you? I'm Batman. Nice coat. Thanks.
So, as we can see, based on the timeline that I've displayed here, we can kind of see a pattern of how many cuts there are with the drawn-out shots and the pattern with the audio itself. The pattern that I noticed is that the shots that are slightly drawn out, the audio levels don't really peak until the scene gets to shorter shots, where we do see audio levels rising whenever there's some sound effects being used during parts where maybe there's running, shooting, and fighting. And speaking of sound effects, I want to briefly mention that I appreciate how well the sound effects is utilized within the edit of the scene, as we can hear little things like Batman's cape flapping in the background.
Here.
It creates a horror kind of vibe whenever we see the henchmen reacting to Batman moving throughout the scene. And speaking of moving, I want to get into one of my favorite aspects of the scene in terms of how quick paced the action shots are and how it's nicely balanced with some slightly drawn out shots. I really appreciate how the editor chooses to show less of Batman and takes more of a slightly mysterious approach, because I think that helps the scene's suspenseful moments, giving not only the henchmen within the scene a very tense feeling based on their reactions of Batman taking them out one by one, but it also gives us, the audience, a tense feeling as we hardly see Batman. I think if the editor chose to edit Batman taking out the thugs with slightly longer shots, then the scene wouldn't have really worked as well and it wouldn't have been as effective, as we would kind of lose that mysterious and suspenseful feeling, and the payoff in this scene whenever Batman tells Falcone who he is wouldn't have been as effective. Another thing I noticed, and is done very well, is how carefully utilized the film's score is within the edit of this scene. It's not just something that's blaring in the background from beginning to end. The times that we do hear the film score is when there's something suspenseful happening, like this,
What? What?
or even something like this. But the one main takeaway on how the score is utilized within this given scene is that it's basically a progression to something triumphant. The score begins not necessarily quietly, but not overbearing until we start to reach to the ending of the scene.
What the hell are you? I'm Batman.
Overall, I really love this scene edited by Lee Smith, as he knows how to effectively build up suspense with great use of sound effects, amazingly edited action shots, mixed with some slightly drawn out shots, and properly using the film score to effectively show that sometimes less is more. I really respect Lee Smith as an editor, as he has collaborated with one of my favorite directors, Christopher Nolan, on multiple projects such as The Prestige, Inception, Interstellar, and even Dunkirk, which was a movie he won an Oscar for. I'll end off by saying that Batman Begins is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, and is the film within the Dark Knight trilogy that I rank higher than the others. Yes, I'd even rank it higher than The Dark Knight. It's just one of those films that remains timeless for me, and is a film that I watch yearly. Anyways, I think I've said enough. I hope you enjoyed this little analysis, and if you enjoyed it, please hit that dislike button. I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, I'll see you later.